I had a meeting with Ann Rivers the first month after she did a draft and it got out. I met with her to talk to her about the issues that I seen with her new legislation that she was drawing up. I showed her my 75 plant 48 ounce recommendation that went through the Social Security system, got authorized. I was authorized through that to get my benefits. They didn't ding me for using a Schedule 1 controlled substance. First one that went up before the legislature and spoke about it. Nobody else in the state of Washington has gone into the legislature and spoke to them about that high of a number plant count or the amount once you get it all processed and cut down. It was pretty amazing to go to the legislature and it fall on deaf ears what Ann Rivers had done. And then after she had a media conference and pretty much said to everybody in the media that I was a liar and that I was just up there acting for the cameras and that I was dramatizing the issue.
Well, tell them exactly what you experienced when you smoked. Well, you had the meeting and then she told you that
she
you
told
just
me
need
to go
buy it from 502. Stop being a baby.
She told me I would be a criminal if I didn't go and buy it from the 502 store. So I took her advice. I went into Battleground, which was the closest store to me, and I purchased 4 grams of Cinex. And the newspaper article that had come out said that it was all organic and no pesticides were used. The falsity of that left me trying the first gram. I was like, interesting. This doesn't taste like Cinex. There's something else in this. I couldn't pinpoint it right off the bat. Next morning, I was feeling kind of shady. Wasn't feeling all that great. So I did the second gram. And that's when it hit me. It was the amount of pesticides that were in that. They had used 5 different pesticides on the product. Did not list it on the product like Ann Rivers had said. She had said that it was listed on the product, and I showed straight to the legislature, no, front and back, nothing about pesticides. So I couldn't have known. About 3 days, it was hard for me to breathe. It felt like somebody was sitting on my chest. So I was unable to medicate for the following 3 days. I ended up throwing the third and fourth gram out. I just decided I wasn't going to use it anymore. It was wasting my money, and I couldn't get my money back or anything. I'd have to sue somebody. Who do I sue? Do I sue the grower? Do I sue the retailer? Or do I sue the state? Well, come to find out, when you go and you try and sue under a Schedule 1 controlled substance, the court throws it out. So the only way to go after anybody is product liability on a state level. When you look at the state level requirements in order to go and take somebody to court over their product, cannabis isn't anywhere in that area, in that realm where you can actually take them to court, sue them over it, and actually get a judgment that stops people from doing that. So now I work at a 502 store 3 hours a week so that I can talk to the growers and the processors about their product and to get them to understand when they can use the pesticide and when they cannot. Most of them are telling me that they use it whilst in flower, that they can do it up until harvest, and some of them have told me that they can even put it on there after harvest, such as Nukem.
Yeah,
Which, when you read the label on Nukem, you can use it on any plant, and they basically say you can do it after harvest for like mildews and molds. Completely improper on using on cannabis, because what happens is they spray it on the flower and that flower grows, and the next thing you know, you got the pesticide inside the bud. When they go and they process that and break that down and they go and put it into oil, you don't have just the one concentrate of the one bud, you have multiple, and it adds up. So if you were to use a concentrate that had been sprayed with pesticide, you don't just get that one level of pesticide. It rises. So you get more pesticides than you even would want to. And they're organic pesticides, which the state says that it's a tolerance level. I believe is that the term that they
You
use?
just put out a new tolerance proposal, an emergency rule.
I haven't caught up with it the last couple of weeks.
They copied our use.
But if they're tolerance levels, let's think about that for a minute. What is the tolerance level for a product that you're going to burn?
Your
There
tolerance
is no-
level is different than mine, than yours.
There
than
is no.
yours.
What I'm talking about is the tolerance level of the what secondary element comes off of burning a pesticide. In Colorado, they were spraying. They found Eagle 20 puts out hydrogen cyanide when torched. When you use a lighter on Eagle 20 that's been sprayed on cannabis, it turns into hydrogen cyanide. We haven't had any testing done in the state of Washington on Azamax, Nukem, or any of the remaining 200 plus products that are allowed to be used. When the state went to the feds and asked them about this organic and this, that, and the other, they came back and said tolerance levels. Really? Well, I think that those tolerance levels that they're talking about is for food products to eat.
Yeah,
Combustion is a completely different animal, and we need to have that addressed this year in the legislature. That's very important, because if we don't, we're going to be having people flopping down, dying.
Well, so is there? I'm just wondering, like, is the combustion on the pesticides themselves, that the combination of potentially mixing and bonding with different elements that come off the plant itself, like the ethanol or something like that? I mean, I guess the question would be: is there a way that it's the combustion of that combined with the THC itself that creates a compound that's
No,
dangerous?
no.
It's just the
It's the
compound itself.
pesticide itself. They're organic pesticides.
Has there been any opportunities to work with like WSU or University of Washington to see if they're testing those?
Yes and no.
Didn't
Not
Oregon
so much
pass it?
on pesticides and cannabis. The main reason is they rely on federal funds.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
they're
I
in
guess
a
I'm
weird spot.
I'm
that
just
way.
wondering if it's just checking if the compound from the combustion of the pesticide itself. I mean, I know that WSU's it's an ag school,
Well,
so
some of this comes down to why did they pass the laws the way they did? And who was the money and the influence behind it? And when you really take a hard look and put it all under the microscope, you really can't help but come to any other conclusion than this was designed to fail.
Right.
So if it was designed to fail, why would they want it to fail? That's where you got to, again, you start looking and seeing, okay, who's putting the money behind this kind of legislation? And the big money was the pharmaceutical industry.
right.
So they obviously see this as a major source of competition. You're at the point now where all these different medical uses have been documented over thousands of years, some of it. So the ability to patent it is not so easy anymore. And you have a medication that somebody can go out and grow in their backyard or in their basement. It tends to reduce the amount of stock prices in these, right? So that, to me, is really the overlying problem here that we have, is that we're seeing a system that's set up to fail. And a meeting that I had with Representative Christopher Hurst, who was one of the bigger proponents of 502. He was a former drug cop.